Yeah, this podcast is really just marketing for your Instagram, right?
Hey, what is going on, you guys? Welcome to One of Each, the Dumb and Hungry podcast, where we talk about our food adventures and our favorite food groups. I'm Angelo, the Dumb and Hungry.
And I'm Mychow.
I'm Mychow's salvation.
Let's go by Daniel.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining us. I hope you're doing all right. Well, I was going to say that it's nice to see some familiar faces, but after that, I'm not too sure. Anyway, hope you guys are doing okay. Nice to see you again. As you can hear, and to those following along, we have some familiar faces back, John and Daniel. So welcome back. Nice to see you.
Thank you for having us.
Right on. We have a lot to
Definitely
talk about.
my favorite day of the week every time.
Considering it's
Why is he paying you?
I mean,
John,
John,
Daniel.
are you not getting paid for this, John? I mean, this is definitely like
No, outrageous.
Well, I bet you're gonna strike or picket or something at some point.
I was about to say it's time to unionize people.
Yeah.
Let's go. I'm so down.
Oh man. Okay. Unions aside, and let's just get right into it. Mychow, how you doing?
Doing great. Been doing the Pokemon Sleep thing that just came out last week. But also, more importantly, today, or I guess follow up from AX, only won a giveaway from Calbee USA. They do a lot of the Asian chips, right?
Yeah.
So she won a giveaway, and we just got the box today.
There's a box.
It's glorious.
What kind? Is it a big box?
Unboxing.
Oh, okay. Let me go grab it. Let me see if it's available.
Go ahead.
Give me 1 second.
I was super surprised to find out Calbee. So yeah, because I always knew him from shrimp chips, but then I found out they also do those snap peas?
The harvest snap piece. Yeah, I
Yes.
noticed it in the picture.
Yes, I was like, whoa! I had no idea that's Calbee too. So
Yeah.
props to them taking over the world.
You guys seem to be more familiar
Diverse
with this
portfolio.
snack than I do. What? Maybe I've had
You
it.
know it.
Oh, do
Yeah,
I?
these shrimp chips like these.
I came with a
Yeah.
bucket.
Oh,
Nice.
classic.
How cool is that? Let's take a look. Just talk us through the different things that contents in the box. What's in the box?
It's basically one of each flavor of snack that they make.
Beautiful.
But
That
first we'll start with
great.
Cat.
Great with the podcast, one of each, man.
Oh, it's perfect. It came in today. You got this pizza potato chip thing. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay, nice.
I haven't tried it, but it looks good. I like pizza. You got the classic, shrimp
Nice.
chips, original
Mm.
flavor.
Come on, Angelo, you gotta recognize that.
Yeah, they're.
Also, 50 years. I did not realize it's that old.
Oh, I hope they're not stale.
Even if they are, I'd still eat them.
I think-
I'm just there for the powder.
I think it takes more than 50 years for them to go stale. just my observation of them.
Okay.
I got some honey butter chips. I got these the seaweed and salt potato chips.
Very cool.
Nice.
Are
Okay.
these,
Favorite
are these
of
common
that
flavors
brand.
though? Like,
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll see these if you go to a grocery or Asian grocery or whatever
Yeah.
you'll see these flavors. They're not like exclusive to whatever. I don't know. Like if you go to like Asia, right, or some other more exotic store elsewhere. I'm just asking. I mean,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I live in Little Tokyo now, so I see it all the time. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
all right.
You got these vegetable sticks, the original flavor.
Didn't know they made that.
They
Yeah,
got
that's favorite.
oh really? These are good. They have other flavors. There's one in here for Hokkaido butter. You'll see it later. That's the always go-to. What is this one? Oh, Hokkaido butter flavor. Sorry, this is a
It's a
yuzu
yuzu.
black pepper
Oh,
shrimp chip.
That sounds
Ooh.
pretty good.
Cool.
Yeah.
Haven't tried that one yet, so I'm excited. We got these Himalayan pink salt Mychow potato chips.
My
Damn.
I mean, they really
That's
loaded it
French.
up. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Oh, we're not even halfway through the box.
Oh my god!
You got sriracha mayo shrimp chips.
Ooh, nice. That sounds good. Yeah, forget the podcast.
Yeah, I know. We should just
go.
go through this. Just watch Mychow eat
wish.
all these snacks.
I would be so down, but she wouldn't let me because they're her chips.
I know Mychow's saying
She won the giveaway.
he's like, I can't wait to try these. It's like Oldie's like, think again.
This is the Hokkaido butter vegetable stick thing. That one's good. It is a good flavor. The white truffle, my pote chip.
Wow.
This one's good.
Is this either high-end brand, the Mychow, or is that just a different label?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's all new to me.
Probably just a different label, but at the same time, it's white truffle, so I don't know.
Yeah, that was black label stuff.
Yeah. Here's the garlic herb butter, my pote chip.
I mean, they all sound great. I mean, I don't know where to start.
I have no idea what this is. It's all in Japanese, but it looks like a fry, so it's a fried potato, is my guess.
Are those like individually packaged? I couldn't quite tell.
Yeah, like this
Okay.
one. Oh no, inside no.
No,
But they gave us like 4 of these.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the important lesson I'm getting here is that if you're a weeb, you get buckets of potato chips. So that's pretty good.
It pays to be a weeb.
If you win the giveaway, she won one. Another friend of ours won it. She got her box yesterday, and I'm so jealous.
Oh,
and then we got ours
the
today.
same things?
Yeah, exact same box. She showed us pictures. There's this other Calbee potato chip of some kind, hot and spicy potato flavor.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Does anyone else? Does that like potato chip mascot look like the
The peanut.
I wasn't thinking the peanut, but that's also good. I was thinking the like Mr. Bill from. Did you guys watch those educational videos?
Yeah.
Like the guy riding the
bill.
Yes,
Just the
that
right-
one.
Yeah, way back.
Yeah.
The cartoon of how the government works, if you remember.
Yes, it's actually quite
Angelo and I were
accurate.
not. Angelo and I were not educated, so
Well,
I
it's the
see.
same.
You guys flunked out before 8th grade. All right.
Like school. I want to say Schoolhouse Rock, but that's not right.
Oh.
Yeah, it's. I think it's the same makers, like with conjunction, junction.
Right,
What's
what's
your
your function?
or
Okay,
whatever.
yeah, that's the classic one.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. Yes.
that's the thing.
So
Wasabi flavored shrimp chips.
I had those.
So many.
Those ones are good. That's the one I can vouch for.
Oh, okay, nice. I'm excited. Hot garlic flavored shrimp chips. Oli said she tried these before. She likes them.
Wasn't
Wasn't
that
there
sounds like a classic.
another garlic version already? Shrimp chip that you shared?
There was garlic and
Sriracha.
onion,
That's right.
but garlic.
Oh, garlic herb. It wasn't shrimp
Got
chip.
it.
It was a garlic herb potato chip of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay. I'm just more and more overwhelmed by the variety that you have.
Yeah, the snap
There you
pea
go.
chip.
Yeah.
These are good. Everyone loves these.
That's got to be healthy or something, right? It's green.
I mean, it's green.
Something
right?
about that design looks very different from everything else in that box.
One of these things is not like
Exactly.
takoyaki.
Takoyaki bowl,
Interesting.
Oh dang! I haven't seen that.
Interesting.
flavored corn snack.
Interesting.
I guess those aren't gonna.
Hmm?
I was saying the takoyaki balls probably won't burn my mouth like real ones do.
Yeah.
I hope not. Onion soup flavored my pote chip.
Fancy.
How many bags are we talking about here? This is like a full. It's like
Granola,
it's like-
fruit and granola.
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 Yeah.
That's like a total
Another
left
one of
field.
these things
That's-
is not like the other.
exactly.
They were giving these away at the con.
No wonder.
and
I see.
this was my lunch
Yeah,
one
why?
day.
They're offloading them. Yeah, they're overstocked.
We made a mistake. We stopped using potatoes.
This is a Jagabi ketchup flavor
Jagabi.
of the
I remember.
vegetable stick.
I remember Tomo talking about those at one point. Probably
really?
because of the ketchup, but I don't remember like. So the Jagabi is like a fry thing. I think it's like a fry.
Yeah, it looks like a fried chip, fried potato chip. Fresh fry cut potato crisps is what it says on the box. And the last unique thing is the this one, Jagabi lightly salted flavor.
Okay.
Asterisk, 55% less sodium.
I like how happy that potato is as he's sliding into that pot of oil.
Hell yeah. He knows
Bye.
what's good for him.
Release me. Okay. So that's pretty good. I was trying to just do a quick search like on the brand and get myself like familiar with it. There's like a result on Google, like a question says, "Are shrimp chips healthy?" and it just says shrimp chips are calorie dense, meaning they contain a significant amount of calories. Small.
Yeah. So another word is calorie efficient. You don't need to spend a whole lot to get a lot of calories.
I believe the way I think of it is it's like the college age special.
There's exactly 420 calories in a bag. So, they know what they were doing.
Exactly.
That's pretty good for a bag of chips.
What do you mean? That's a lot.
Like a serving of Cheetos, which is like 7 Cheetos, is already 200 calories.
Is it really?
It's a lot.
It's a little more than 7.
It's a lot.
But it is 200 calories.
200 calories in a bag? Jesus.
For a 1 ounce bag.
Yeah, the smaller bag. That's crazy.
How many ounces is that wasabi?
3.3.
Already better.
Double the thing. Hot Cheeto bag.
So tell me again how Oli managed to snag herself this giveaway.
Oh, at AX,
Uh-huh.
Calbi Yosei had a booth, right? And one of their things was like they were doing giveaway, basically, right? So you take an Instagram picture, you tag them, and you follow them, and you'll be entered to win. But even just for entering, you can get a tote bag full of, not full, but with some snacks as well.
Mm.
It was the granola, it was the Chuck Rico.
Can you pull up a random bag or two and check the expiration date?
These aren't American, so they don't have one? No, best before November 2023.
That sounds
I
just
was trying to
wrong.
help you out. I know, I was trying to help you out and say, look, if the expiration date is in a month, you better start working through them right now.
Oh, don't worry. They'll be gone before then. All of it.
They'll be gone before this evening.
Next podcast. Save all the bags.
The original one expires this in August, so this one.
Got it.
I'm excited for that.
That's the priority then. So
Yeah.
Well, you got your content for next week, Angelo.
well, report back and let us know how it turns out. They all sound like great flavors.
They're all going to be delicious, I'm sure.
The granola is questionable, but I mean,
This saved me, all right?
it's there.
When I had no food because I forgot to pack lunch, it was great.
Okay,
It was clutch.
nice.
Is it just straight granola or is there like little shrimp chips in there?
No, it's granola and like fruit and shit.
And disdain.
I mean, it gets the job done, right?
I can't tell if,
Sure.
if shit is just, like the finisher, or it's like, nah, just the rest of this is shit.
I don't know. Look, that bag's gone. It's lost in this giant box of stuff.
Got it. Okay. Well, yeah, try it out.
So
Let us know. It sounds really good. So, and I guess congrats, Oli. All right, because
Yeah. It's a 6-pound box.
Wow.
it's hefty.
It's a 6-pound calorie dense box, really.
Just how I like them.
So that's
Calorie
20,
efficient.
20 pounds on a human.
Easily. Nice. Well, good. That's a nice highlight. Something to enjoy. So
Best part of my week,
yeah, best
bar
part.
none.
Absolutely. What about you, John? What's going on with you?
I'm not going to follow that.
We should just
There's definitely no Calvi situation in our lives. What did we do? We went to Disneyland over the weekend. It was hot, but surprisingly, the crowds weren't too bad. So actually, it was pretty nice to be able to navigate that. And then, this past weekend is Barbenheimer fever, where the two movies have been feeding off one another on social media. There's just reports of people watching Barbie and then watching Oppenheimer, or watching Oppenheimer and
Other way
watching
around,
Barbie.
usually.
Yeah, I think people want to end on an upper. Start with the downer, end with the upper.
Yeah.
I think there was speculation that Warner Brothers. So Nolan used to exclusively produce for Warner Brothers, so all of his movies have been with Warner. Dark Knight series, Interstellar. Tenet was the last straw that broke it, though, because they had released that on HBO Max, and Nolan's such a huge cinephile. Like, he wants all of his movies to be in theaters, and so he was very upset by that, especially because Warner did not tell any of the directors or talent that they're going to pivot these titles during COVID. They just threw them up on the streaming service. So he's like, no, I'm not doing this anymore. So he went to Universal. He made Oppenheimer. And then Warner has Barbie, and I think there's speculation that Warner released Barbie kind of as a slight to Nolan on the same weekend to try and tank Nolan's box office. But I think it had the opposite effect where I don't know if it was a Universal camp, if it was a Warner camp, it was just organic through social media, but this Barbenheimer portmanteau emerged and all of a sudden it was just trending everywhere. And anytime a trailer dropped for one of the two movies, you would see an uptick in views of the trailers of the other movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that went into the weekend, and both titles did extraordinarily well. I think Barbie was expected to open around 90 million, and it opened at 162, which is domestic.
Yeah.
Which is, that's peak Marvel territory. And then Oppenheimer, which was expected to open at 40, ended up opening at 82, 88, somewhere in that range. And this is Nolan. I believe it's his first R-rated movie. Everything else was much more accessible to the audience. This one was R-rated. It's a biopic, so it's not flashy and showy in any way, shape, or form. He's super prideful of the fact that he did everything with practical effects. So on paper, it shouldn't have worked. Well, shouldn't have worked as well as it did.
I'm no expert, but so it's a movie about an atomic bomb. He did everything with practical effects. Does that mean like he made an atomic bomb? Is that what I'm getting out of this?
The budget was 100 million, so I'm not sure.
That might be enough.
Well,
maybe.
It
modern times.
Right, it's modern times. You don't need as much uranium these days.
Yeah.
No, he built a special rig to emulate a bomb. So like it would blow out smoke and dust in certain directions and blow clouds in other directions and breathe fire. But yeah, it did really well. So we watched that Monday night. It's 3 hours long, so definitely use the restroom beforehand. There is no intermission. But it was pretty phenomenal. I mean, I've only seen a handful of biopics, so I don't have a lot of titles to compare against, but it definitely felt inherently different and distinctly Nolan. But yeah, the cast is phenomenal. The sound is incredible. The script, the writing is great. So it was good. We'll watch Barbie tomorrow, and then we're going to compare the two. There are some theaters, so Nolan is a cinephile, so he's adamant that people watch it in 70 millimeter IMAX. There's only 30 70 millimeter IMAX theaters in the world.
Oh, wow.
There's only 2 in SoCal. So one is AMC City Walk, and the second one is the Chinese Theater in Hollywood. There's also one in Ontario. There's also one at Irvine Spectrum. So that's all of SoCal. And then I think NorCal has 2, one in SF, one in Sacramento. So 6 of the 30 70 millimeter IMAX theaters are here in California. 19 of those total are in the States, and the rest are scattered throughout the world. And all of those showtimes have been just completely sold out.
Incredible.
Well,
normally IMAX doesn't contribute that much to the box office relative to regular theaters. I think during the opening weekend, domestically, 26% of ticket sales were IMAX tickets.
Well, that's why there's like those people watching in the front row, right? And they're just getting the full like.
The very
there was
front
a woman
row.
who came into our IMAX screen. She walked at the front row, dead center, sat down, craned her neck up,
Oh my goodness.
put her head back down, stood up, and walked away.
She gave it a good old college try. It's like, no.
She did. She actually sat down. She actually looked up, and she's like, "I'm gonna need a chiropractor." And then she left.
Do people actually buy those seats? Are those seats actually practical in any way? Do people actually buy them?
So the 70 millimeter showings, they have bought those seats. For the digital IMAX, I'm seeing more openings in those first 2 to 3 rows. There was a bit that was done by IMAX in Australia. I think it was Sydney has an IMAX. Australia has one of their 70 millimeter IMAXs, and the guy who was doing the report sat in the front row, and he's like, it does require a little bit of a strain, but like he could be comfortable sitting through that. He didn't specify he could be comfortable sitting through that for 3 hours, but he said he's comfortable sitting through that. So
Yeah, I sat in a non-IMAX. It was just like a regular theater, but it was like a bigger theater. I sat in the front row when they were doing a free movie night because I was like, well, it's the front row, but it's a free movie. Let me do it. And it was a good time. But that was college when like you could kind of stretch your back in weird ways. Now I sit on a plane for an hour and I'm like, oh god.
Now that free movie night better come with PT.
They should bundle it together, just like as a special.
Right, yeah. As an add-on. Right after you get your ticket, it's concessions, and then right after concessions, it's PT.
That's right. But it sounded like a movie worth watching.
I think it's worth watching in the big screen. Yeah, it's going to be difficult to emulate a lot of the sound mixing and the sound effects at home unless you've got a good sound bar and a good sub. You're going to need a good sub. I think somebody was telling me in IMAX, the theaters, there's 8 levels of volume that you're allowed to set the sound at, and Nolan requested that all for the movie be shown at level 8.
Like maxed
whereas
out.
most movies are normally shown around level 6 or 7.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, well.
I mean, I'm half convinced because I saw Dunkirk, right, which is also Christopher Nolan, and that was obscenely loud. Like, I mean, it was fun. Like, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, this guy must be like borderline deaf, right? Like he has to like he has to listen to that noise and be like, "Yep, that's perfect." Like I want to blow people's eardrums out. Like I like, is that right? Or I don't know.
I don't think he doesn't want to hear the dialogue. He just wants to feel the dialogue.
Shaking in your bones.
Some of there are some parts in the movie that is really loud, but I think the more impressive thing to me was the subwoofers and how hard they were working, because there are some scenes where I'm like, I don't know what they're doing on the screen, but I feel like it's about to tear me in half.
I like that in Top Gun. That I felt like some scenes like that. It was pretty dope.
Yeah.
I wonder if people who are watching Barbie, at the same time, they go through these scenes.
There's videos of. I mean, it's in the trailer, so and you also know the history that they built the atom bomb. So when they test the scene where they test the bomb, there are people who are live streaming or they were recording themselves on TikTok for whatever reason, and you could see them visibly shake.
Oh, really?
When the bomb goes off.
Oh my gosh!
Because it's so it's such an insane sound, and they're like holding the camera, and even the auto stabilization technology isn't enough to keep them from doing a little bit of a rattle.
Whoa.
But yeah, it's loud. And I think the other thing that was really fun too is that the theaters were really busy. It was a Monday night, and parking was hard to find.
Mm-hmm.
People were dressed up as Barbie. People were dressed up as Oppenheimer, which is a little bit more dapper and drab.
Yeah, that's a little
sad.
more niche. Yeah.
Maybe they were just lonely. I don't know. But you definitely saw both crowds out there, and never seen such a long line for concessions in my life.
Wow.
Gotta say, I did not have Oppenheimer cosplay on my 2023 bingo. Didn't see that coming.
Nah, as soon as the double feature meme started, you knew it was gonna happen.
Yeah.
Well, we'll make sure to. So, are they only offering it in the 70 millimeter, or are they also showing it in regular? You
can watch it in regular 35 millimeter projectors, but it's just not what Nolan wants. So, if you want those seats, there's plenty of those seats. If you want 70 millimeter, impossible. But I heard that IMAX is more likely not going to. It's exclusive to IMAX for 3 weeks, but I heard IMAX is going to plan to show it for longer than that. They'll keep some of they're keeping some of the screens.
Okay.
To just continue to show Oppenheimer for an unannounced period of time.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's super crazy right now, I'm sure. So hopefully, weeks out, maybe a couple months out, maybe it'll calm down. I don't know. But then maybe we'll take our chance and view it then. Yeah. But okay, cool. Man.
So this may be totally inaccurate, but the impression I'm getting from John is if you go see Oppenheimer in a non-IMAX theater, you have to deal with like a 20-second preview from Christopher Nolan just being like you fucked up, man. Like this is not the way to watch this movie. Like, you know what? Fine, I'll take your money, but like you better go next door and watch this in IMAX after. Maybe I'm wrong, but that just seems like what's happening.
Yeah, they take away the Nicole Kidman intro at the AMC. They replace it with
Right.
Nolan scolding you. Yeah.
Nice. Well,
People still clap for that, by the way.
yeah.
For the Nicole Kidman thing?
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
Okay, did I miss it?
It's
Like,
just
why
kind
do
of-
people clap for that?
I don't get it, but people cheer and clap when she comes on. People cheer and clap when she finishes monologue, and I don't know. It's just
Yeah, like-
become a thing now.
I thought for 1 minute I was like, oh, maybe they're happy that they're done watching trailers because like now that I have the movie pass, like I've seen the exact same trailers 5 times over, and I'm like, yeah, I'm tired of that shit too. But like, I've also seen her in literally 500 movies. Like, I don't care about this scene either. Why am I clapping?
So the version you're seeing is actually cut. It used to be much longer. She had a much longer
God.
monologue.
Oh my god.
Interesting.
And I could not. I was like, oh my god. And what people would do is they would either mouth or repeat the dialogue as she's doing her monologue.
That's like the worst version of going on a Disneyland ride when everyone knows the lines and it's like you hear the person behind you doing like the Haunted Mansion dialogue. But like this is the way worse version of that.
Wow. Daniel, hopefully Christopher Nolan hasn't been shaming you lately. What's going on with you?
No, I'm seeing it on IMAX on Saturday, so you know I'm off the hook from him. He thinks I'm a good citizen. But not too much going on with me. Went to a baby shower on Saturday. There was a wonderful mix of food. We had Lucille's barbecue, Mexican fish tacos, Vietnamese spring rolls, Chinese noodles, char siu dumplings, king crab legs, and portos, and fruit. So it was a real wonderful mix. Then, as we'll talk about on here, went to Poltergeist on Sunday, and then Monday got some hot pot with a friend from Taiwan who came to town. Made the poor decision to get the super spicy, and yeah, yesterday was a rough day for me. But you know that's why they make sick days at work, is for post spicy hot pot meals. So we're doing better now.
Good. It's a lot to eat and a lot to endure, but hopefully it's worth it.
So far, yes. You know, we got a lot of room on my arteries before they clog up, so it's got to
I don't know if I can say the self for myself, but okay. Good for you.
It's like, must be nice.
Oh boy. Well, for myself, just eating as usual. Yeah, just a few places hit up recently. One was out in city of Cyprus at a Home Depot of all things. There's a spot there called LJ's Little Cafe, and they've they're known for making these pretty killer breakfast burritos. And you know, people have been talking about them, just been seeing them on Instagram and all that, and been meaning to give them a try. And a friend of mine, Jose, reached out to me. I was kind of thinking about, you know, hitting them up, and then he kind of messages me and says, "Hey, you want to try these guys out?" And so that was good timing. So we went out there, and we had some great breakfast burritos. I mean, you know, with there are a couple that we tried. There's, you know, one kind of the OG that has, you know, your egg, sausage, you know, potato. They use tater tots. I don't know if you guys have a preference on the kind of, you know, potato that's used in your breakfast burrito, if it has one, whether it's home fries or tater tots or hash browns. But the tater tots were super crispy. So I mean, it was fresh when we got them, and so they're really crunchy and just a real nice, you know, crunchy bite. And the tortilla, you know, is just right, not too tough, not, you know, and everything inside was just really satisfying. And then there was this other one that had like this more like kind of cheese, you know, filled with some peppers and, you know, things like that, and that was also very good. They also sell hot dogs. I don't know if you guys have any memories. I remember going out to Home Depot with my grandpa, and we go to Home Depot there on Sunset and what street is that? Western, I want to say.
Close enough.
Yeah, and every time we're done, there would be a hot dog cart, right outside, and I would always ask if I could, get a hot dog, and more often than not, yeah, he would agree reluctantly, but it just kind of reminded me of that. So these guys also serve up hot dogs, but definitely different toppings, different flavors. We were just taught. It reminded me, I think, because of our conversation, previously about about LA's Danger Dogs, and they have such a dog on their menu.
Oh dear!
And so it's
Dangerous.
a bacon wrapped hot dog, topped with the caramelized onions and peppers and all of the condiments, right? The mayo, mustard, ketchup, that whole deal. So just a lot going on, but it was quite nice, quite satisfying. So we shared that, and to kind of find them in kind of this unsuspecting location. It's a bit far out, it's definitely out of the way, but I'm glad I visited there, and it was quite nice. So if ever you find yourself out there, and just give them a try. That's LJ's little cafe. Yeah.
Can you start back at the top when you introduced that about dining at a Home Depot? Because I don't know if you go to a Home Depot that's different from the ones I'm used to going to, but generally speaking, they don't sell edible things. It's mostly home goods and tools and hardware.
The way I understood it is you buy the chair at Home Depot and you bring it with you to the parking lot, or you construct your own table. Like if you need a table, you can
have
construct
all
that.
the parts, right, to build your own dining set.
To build your own grill, build your own setup so that you can make your own burrito. Is it a pop-up, or how does that work? Is it inside the Home Depot? Is it the garden center?
That's a good question. It's like what I was kind of alluding to before, the hot dog carts outside the Home Depot, right? Those are carts, right? And they just sell them out there, or like little trailers. This looks like a structure that's actually, it's outside, like it's at the entrance of the Home Depot, but it looks like it's like attached, like as a whole separate space. They've got their own kitchen in there. All the staff are working in there.
In the parking lot, huh?
Not in the parking lot.
Attached to the Home Depot.
Yeah. Let me see if.
Interesting.
I don't know if this
I've ever seen
gives you any context. So this is just if I could somehow expand this picture, right? Like this is in front, like this is attached to the Home Depot, but like in front on the outside. So it's like, yeah, as you before you walk into the entrance, you kind of see this, out there. It's like a full on like stand and everything, right? You can order your breakfast burritos and your hot dogs and everything. It's
wow.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting.
I've been to a few Home Depots in my lifetime, and none of them have any structures attached to them. So that's a really unique setup for a Home Depot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sure is.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's the first I've seen something like that. So I'm pretty excited. So,
I will say, it kind of reminds me of the Glendale Home Depot, because in the parking lot, like there's like a building outside of it that is court. Like a food something.
Right.
At the Glendale,
it's not attached.
Yeah. Oh, at the Glendale.
By Golden Road Brewery.
Yeah. Right by the brewery.
Oh, got it. Interesting. Okay.
And the one in Cypress Park also has like a little food court thing, but it's underneath the freeway overpass.
Oh, interesting. Here's a better maybe angle of. Maybe. But you take a look at this, right? Probably a better angle, right? So the entrance.
So those picnic benches
were definitely made from Home Depot, like 100%.
They went in, bought it, posted right there. Yeah.
I think I see a price tag. They're definitely on sale.
Very cool.
Kind of reminds me of the Skechers food court you had told me about.
Oh, yeah, the food
Except
spot.
that one's a little bit more affordable. Yeah.
Is it formal because you have to wear Skechers? Is that the deal?
No, it's like it's very confusing because you think you're at Costco based off the menu and the setup,
And the
but
signage,
somehow
right?
you're at a Skechers. Yeah. All the food items they offer are the same things you would find at a Costco food court with the same decorative elements. Yeah, there you go. That's Skechers.
But
That's a Skechers?
It's just Skechers.
This is the Skechers in
where?
Gardena, the one on 190th and Vermont. The Skechers outlet.
I mean, on one hand, I'm kind of surprised more people don't do this, right? Because I mean, you got to just look and be like, well, everyone loves Costco. Like, we'll just do the exact same thing. Like, it seems like a no-brainer.
That's what I thought.
Does that say $3 for a churro?
Yeah, but it's like
you don't
pack
pay
of them.
membership to Skechers, so you get upcharged.
No, but it looks like it's like a pack of them, right? Not just one.
I think you get a discount if you buy something from the store.
So certainly the menu is price wise is a little higher because you don't get those membership prices. But like John said, maybe you buy a pair of Skechers and maybe they bring that down for you. I don't know. But
Very interesting.
But Costco signage aside, yeah, that's those are food places in front of non-food places. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay.
Traditionally non-food places.
I mean, it feels really like they're speaking to my life, which is like, okay, every once in a while I have to do non-food things, like it's part of living. But like, if I could do a food thing, that's even better.
Right. It's all part of the lifestyle, right? It's a lifestyle thing. And Skechers knows, and Home Depot apparently knows how to speak to you.
Yeah, I feel like I really should be identifying with these brands more.
Like, I need 50 cinder blocks, but I also need a breakfast burrito. So
if I
gotta carry them back.
I have to do work at the house today, I'd like to have a breakfast burrito.
That's right.
If I'm getting a manicure anyways, I may as well have crab legs next to me.
Wait a minute, that sounds counterproductive.
That's the next
I guess
best.
you have to do the crab legs first, then you do the manicure.
Either way, support your local
Or
business.
get a petty, then you can have as many
there you go.
crab legs as you want.
Perfect. Yeah, so that's again, that's LJ's Little Cafe. Some other places though, out in East LA is a restaurant called Azteca Tortilleria, and they make they're known for making a distinct kind of burrito as a chili relleno burrito, and it's probably just one of that area's well-known bites. And if you're out there, it's a really good burrito. It's not a breakfast burrito. They have breakfast burritos there too, but they have these regular burritos. Again, one of which is the chili relleno, and then next door is a bakery called El Gallo Bakery, and so just buy a lot of Mexican pastries, conchas, things like that. But yeah, those are all very very good, and they're right next to each other. So that's out there in in East LA. So both very good places to try. But there's a restaurant that we visited recently called Poltergeist, and I think it was the first time that any of us had tried this restaurant. I don't know if any of you had heard of the restaurant beforehand, but I think it was just kind of a first time thing for us. But yeah, let's get into it a little bit. So Poltergeist, the who behind Poltergeist is Chef Diego Argotti, and I don't know, I didn't know much about him beforehand necessarily. He actually had a pop-up before this called Estrano Things, where he made basically street food pasta, and I had a chance of trying that out at least once. He also did a series of pop-ups at Button Mash, where this restaurant actually resides now. But I think I think a lot of the ways that people describe him, they use the words like frenetic, like chaotic, but certainly like creative. a lot of different types of flavors in what he introduces to his food. There's an interesting, I think his backstory is pretty interesting, just because where he's come from, where he's trained from, restaurants like Bestia and Bavel and Broken Spanish and things like that. But I think the full story, there's a podcast called the LA Food Pod that I think is worth listening to, because he has a full episode with that, and he kind of just kind of recounts his story of how he got to where he is now, which is pretty interesting. But yeah, as far as the type of food, we'll talk about it as we go along, but you're not quite sure. You can't really put it in a particular box. I think a category of food, there's like a lot of things with Italian, there's like Asian, but it doesn't really fit necessarily in one category very cleanly, which is pretty interesting, and I think makes part of the appeal. But as I said, they're out in Echo Park in the Button Mash, arcade or barcade,
like inside.
Yeah. They're
interesting.
Yeah. So if you've been to Button Mash even before Poltergeist, they served food out there. I think there was a group called Starry Kitchen that used to serve out the food there. But yeah, a lot of food that's like accessible for like hanging out, barcade, very casual food, right? So, but now we see that. But now we kind of see that, and there's still kind of a separate menu, that's kind of more to that. But this is a proper, like, full-on restaurant with like full-on seating and reservations and things like that.
That's interesting.
It is very interesting. It's so cool. I think they started earlier this year, if I'm not mistaken, but they haven't been around too long as far as this restaurant goes. But yeah, it's like taking kind of the techniques of fine dining and placing it in like this very casual spot. I've been rambling on, but let me get some thoughts from, you, John and Daniel. What do you guys, your first impressions before we dive into the meal?
I guess, yeah. Okay. Speechless is actually not a bad like summary of the impression, but I was going to say like high level is like compared to like my expectations maybe, or just like, vibe. It's like fancy, like definitely foodie kind of food, casual setting, and super mega fusion cuisine. Like I don't even know, like it feels like it stretches the word fusion to the max.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I saw the menu. I really didn't know how to interpret it because it's called Poltergeist, which is a ghost of some kind. So you kind of think, oh, it's an interesting name for a restaurant, not something you would normally expect for a fine dining restaurant. And I don't know if it markets itself as a fine dining restaurant, but probably the most surprising thing to me was that the food felt like you were at a fine dining restaurant, but then the prices don't reflect that. So I didn't immediately think, oh, this is going to be a cool spot. And the food itself was presented in such a way that was very creative, very playful. The food itself was very creative, playful, a lot of fun flavors. And like Daniel said, like it's fusion, but I feel like it's more inventive than it is like a standard restaurant meal you would have.
I can confidently say I don't think I've had anything like most of the dishes we've had. Like, very confident to say it's like, yeah, I'm not finding that anywhere else.
Yeah, it's pretty unique. Very, very inventive. So as far as the meal itself, we have kind of main categories. We have they kind of put it as smalls, mediums, and large, right? And the menu itself isn't terribly extensive. I'm looking at the menu now. There's like 4 items for each category, right? And so yep. I think we were just thinking, man, maybe we should just try one of each.
I believe that was the discussion point. It's like, yeah, is all 12? Is that too much?
For 5 people.
Well, I think also to an extent, like I think I remember, we weren't necessarily expecting, the serving sizes that we were getting, right, for maybe what we were paying or something. Like we were maybe expecting
100%,
smaller, right?
Because like Yeah, to John's point, right? When you kind of see a menu like this, that's they're like, oh, it's tapas style, it's meant to be shared, and especially when you start reading, you're like, oh, this is kind of like some interesting stuff going in here. A lot of other restaurants you go to, like, yeah, if they're like, oh, this is the sharing pasta, you're like, all right, everyone gets like a spoon, right?
Yeah,
like everyone gets like 2 bites of the pasta. Whereas like here, I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but here you're like, oh shit, that's like a big plate.
Right. A share salad is a whole head of romaine. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, because our host was just kind of suggesting, oh, you can get maybe like 2 or 3, from each category, right? That should be enough. But again,
yeah, and maybe this is a failing on my part, right? But like anytime like one of the servers is like, oh, you should probably get like 7 dishes. I'm always like, so that's the low end estimate, right? Like we probably want more than 7, but maybe that's my fault. Like maybe I should be like, you're right. Like let's go with what you recommend.
No, you're just a higher achiever, Daniel. Don't let them talk you down.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Don't settle for less. I think that's what it's saying there. But yeah, so it was interesting. Like when we were ready to order, right? She was asking us, so what are you gonna get? And I think we were just kind of still thinking about it, or maybe we're a little reluctant to just kind of on what our decision is going to be. But yeah, we just decided to get all of the smalls, all the mediums, and then 1 large, of those dishes. And then something to drink and some dessert as well. So, but yeah, I think overall, that was a good move. It was definitely a lot, definitely plenty to share and try out and enjoy. So, let's just start off with the smalls. So we start off with the Parker House roll, and I'm going to, I guess, use the power of Yelp to find some of these pictures. I don't know. Is this?
But you took so many pictures as
I did, but I didn't load them on here, so kind of a waste, if anything.
Prepare for your OnlyFans.
I apologize to my OnlyFans.
Yeah, they want to see your pictures, Angelo.
I know.
Come
Maybe.
on.
Well, I didn't even share them yet. At least from now on, I didn't even share them on Instagram or anything. I need to get on that.
Strap. You just whet their appetites and give them nothing.
Yeah. All right. Well,
they were waiting this whole half hour for this moment,
and now nothing. What a ripoff! Unsubscribe. Yeah, but the Parker House roll is a pretty sizable roll with the miso honey, the furikake, and the Fresno butter. So
that's terrible lighting on that photo.
But yeah, okay, so these Yelp pictures are part of the problem why I was misled, right? Like I saw this and I was like, oh, this is like a roll, it's like I get garlic knots, like I know how big that is. But then this thing showed up and I was like, this is the size of my face.
Is this better? I don't know. I mean,
a little bit.
It is better. Especially because this dollop of butter is a little smaller than the roll itself, to give you some actual
context. It seems a little disproportionate, doesn't it? Yeah.
Well, use the fingers in the background for reference.
For reference, yeah. Well, yeah. So, what are your impressions? What did you think?
I was expecting a much harder. Sorry, Dan. I was expecting a much harder roll when I saw it. I thought it would be like a crispy shell. I was kind of like a garlic knot. I was very surprised by how soft it was, and it had a lot of fun. The furikake, I don't know what was in it. I know there's some seaweed, some sesame, but there are things in there I didn't quite recognize either. Mm-hmm. But together with the Fresno butter, it was really good. It was really, really nice. Very soft, very moist. It was almost like a cinnamon roll that was somebody had forgotten to add the cinnamon and the sugar, and instead decided to go in a different direction.
That's a good one. I like that one. Yeah, I was a fan as well. I was surprised by the Fresno chili butter. Like I feel like normally anytime I get like one of these like, ooh, it's like a fancy butter, I'm always like, okay, it's 90% butter and like 10% something else. Mm-hmm. But this was like, oh, this is pretty spicy. Like this is definitely some chili butter. But it went really well with the honey and the rest of the roll. So it was a solid dish.
Yeah, I agree. It was nice pairing of something sweet and something like savory with the furikake. The sweetness was that miso honey. So I mean, like you see these seemingly like there's the introduction like these Asian, influences, these flavors here, and then, but yeah, it's in kind of this form that we're not really familiar with, and then you pair that with this Fresno butter, right? It's something with a little heat, and it's like I don't even know what this is. But overall it was quite good. But then after that, I think the serving, the pace of the dishes were reasonable. I think like the next ones that came out one after the other, they were quite reasonable. So the next one we had was the green goddess salad, and
you actually got it.
I'm telling you, I mean, it seems
Not by his
deceiving.
choice, but yes.
This is not a food group that we cover all that often, if at all, on this program, but I'm telling you, this was something else to consider. Gem lettuce, coconut lime, tarragon, and pandan flakes. So, yeah,
Those pandan flakes were delicious. I got really excited when I saw them. Like, I don't know, I was feeling like this is like cereal on my salad, and I was like, finally, I can dig this salad. And maybe it wasn't quite cereal, but like those, I mean, it was great. Those were like a good crouton substitute. Gem lettuce was good, and it's like it's kind of hard to tell from the picture, but it's just like a giant stack of like lettuce.
Yeah,
lettuce.
layers of lettuce.
So it's kind of fun to eat.
Like Rice Krispies.
That's exactly what I thought when I got it. I was like, ooh, how fun. Rice Krispies on my salad. But then I was like, oh, Rice Krispies are kind of bland, but these are not bland by any means. Like Dan said, they're really fun, really flavorful. And they're very generous at the too, because as you dug, normally like with salad, all the good stuff's at the top, all the toppings go last. So whoever goes
all
in
the good
first,
stuff.
you get all the good stuff, and then you're left with just the fiber at the bottom. You don't want the fiber at the bottom. But this salad, like they were very thoughtful. They scattered those Krispies throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
As I removed leaves, I was like, oh, there's more. But wait, there's more. It was long. Again, I think kind of just what we said at the top. It was a really fun, creative, inventive menu.
This is kind of a tangent,
But very, very good.
This is similarly to what I do when you get a stack of pancakes and you take the butter and then you just like tuck them in between, right?
Yeah, every pancake.
That way you get the distribution of the butter, right?
That's normal, right?
I think it's
the
normal.
butter sandwich.
I'll say I'm not a pancake person, but my version of that is in a waffle. Like I fill each hole with syrup.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it's like similar. Like there's a certain amount of surface area on your dish,
That's
and like
correct.
you should maximize that.
That's
there's an
correct.
equation I think for this.
So McDonald's has a McGriddle series. You're telling me in lieu of the sausage and the cheese and the eggs, you just like a butter McGriddle?
It's fine.
You tell me you don't do that?
Is that not?
I can't say I have, but I can empathize with Daniel's filling the waffles. Yeah.
It's the same concept, just with butter. Oh, your training's got to go a lot harder, John.
Well, there you go.
I've got a long way to go to succeeding you, Mychow. You were free too, by the way. You were able to sneak away off screen. You were free. Why'd you come back?
Contractual obligations, unfortunately.
Oh, okay, yeah.
He had his chance.
Like all the threats he issues behind the scenes. Yeah.
All right, let's move on with the other salad we were talking about. Actually, the Thai Caesar. So this has lemongrass and the rice crouton. That's what you see here, like stacked kind of here along the side. What else? The smoked anchovies, Parmesan. Yeah. So
That's part of the dressing. Yeah.
Yeah. So what did you think about this? Because the lemongrass, I mean, there was lemongrass there. I thought it was a good amount. I don't know. I don't think it was too strong. But I can imagine that people who maybe are not into it might think it's too much. But what do you guys think?
So I guess two thoughts. One, the Rice Krispie crouton in this picture does not give it justice. To me, I feel like when it came out, it looked like a high school volcano project. Like it was quite impressive how tall that Rice Krispie crouton was.
It sure was. It actually was. Yeah.
And then Yeah, the lemongrass, I was worried it would be too much because I feel like I took the first bite and I was like, damn, that's strong. But it actually didn't build. So it's like as I ate more, I was like, oh no, it's not becoming too much. It's just like it's like the same level of like lemongrass.
Yeah.
So it was actually quite enjoyable by the end for me.
Okay. Good. John?
Yeah, I think lemongrass is a hard flavor for some people to grasp, because especially if you're not used to it. It's popular in Southeast Asian cooking. But if you're not used to having it, it can become overpowering really quickly. But I think it was very thoughtful, the amount they use here. It's almost like instead of using a vinaigrette, they just use lemongrass because it had that citrusy, acidic flavor. And yeah, like Daniel said, those croutons were amazing. It looked like the Tower of Sauron without the idol at the top.
Yeah.
It was menacing. And they sprinkled this green powder over it. I have no idea what was in the powder. Had a little bit of sweetness to it, a little bit of umami. But it just worked really well because then you had texture of the crouton, you had the salad inside, you had the citrus, you got the sweet, you got the savory.
Yeah,
I don't know why I'm going on about salad, but salad was really good.
This is definitely a departure from our typical conversations. You
just lost your only fan.
What a shame.
No, I didn't come here to hear about salads.
All right, pack it up. We're done.
I know.
Back to the nutrient dense.
This is jumping the shark, I think, the equivalent to that. It just kind of gone too far. So people, yeah. Well, that's fine. We can praise these salads all day, but that's fine. I think we've gone past the salads already now. So the next,
Thank God.
the next dish is the last of the smalls, and this is the honey walnut prawns. So I recall that this was generally well received. So it's these prawns with a little bit with some Kewpie.
The worst pictures.
Okay.
Yeah, production value dropped a lot. Why the hell are we using Yelp pictures?
Come on now. Let's just work with what we got here. But we have the what do we say? The prawns, the Kewpie, the walnuts, candied walnuts, and this thing on the left is, I think, the horchata panna cotta. Is that right?
Ooh. Yeah, that's
On a crispy rice salad. So, yeah, I mean, this was a great bite. I think there was also some discussion on, I guess, whether or not to eat the entirety of the shrimp. But
You do it.
I do, proudly.
Yeah, you eat shrimp tails. Yeah.
No, I have no problem with that. Well, shrimp, tail, and head, the whole body. That's fine.
Yeah.
All right, let me hear you guys what you have to say about that.
I think for me, this was my worth it winner. And maybe I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself if this is your format, but this was probably the most surprising thing that came out because, I mean, if I remember correctly, I think it was around $18 for this dish, which for shrimp or like seafood or prawns, like normally I would expect to pay a lot more. So again, I was like, oh yeah, it's going to be a small little dinky thing, maybe like 4 or 5 shrimps. Yeah. But these prawns they were serious prawns. They were the size of sausages. And you got 4 of those. And as you saw in the picture, a lot of very different components that I would never have with prawns. I never thought I would have eat horchata panna cotta with a shrimp. But together, it somehow it worked. It was really, really nice. Perfectly fried, a great flavor. My worth it winner.
Same.
I'd personally agree as well. That one was delicious, and as John said, that was the moment where I was like, all right, they're not messing around on the quantity here, because like normal, as he said, I was expecting like 5 like shrimp cocktail size shrimps, right? And these came out as like
full on prawns.
These are although as far as the prawn head, I will throw myself out there as the person who like, I love this dish, but I'm still not a prawn head fan. Just not my jam.
Interesting. Mychow, what are your thoughts on prawn heads?
I mean, I know it's edible, but I don't personally eat it either.
It's all the brainy parts and all that. I mean, it's like
I would suck out the innards. Yes.
Okay, sure.
I just wouldn't eat the whole ass head.
I see. But everything is fried. It's like nice and it's like crispy. So okay. So it reminds me.
I'm almost the opposite of Mychow here. I liked eating the fried outside, but the innards,
Oh.
like I don't know. I feel good with the amount of brains in my body. Like I don't particularly feel a need to eat more.
Well, I need more. I
Well, I'm
need
the
some to
opposite.
compensate.
Exactly. I needed more brains too. So
I'm severely
I was told
lacking.
I could restore.
Yeah, no, that
I've
was
had some. Yeah, I've had some prawn heads before where they really were not good, and you really should have avoided them. But these ones I thought were nice.
okay.
They just tasted really fresh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
super.
but I could see also they do have a distinct flavor to it. So it's kind of like lemongrass. It's like it's not for everybody.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed it. I was gonna say I did share this, during the meal, but it reminded me of a meal I had in Vegas. They have a well-known Thai restaurant there, Lotus of Siam, and they have this prawn dish. I forget. It's literally called prawn something, like crispy prawn something, but it's reminds me of this. Like the whole shrimp is prepared, it's fried, super crispy, and you can eat the entire shrimp, tail, head, and all, with hopefully no regrets. But yeah, it's made to be consumed like in that way, the entire thing. So, but yes, to have these additional kind of flavors, the sweetness from the and creaminess of the panna cotta, and some of the candied walnut in there, and you have the crispiness of the shell, right, of the shrimp, but then you also have that again crispy texture of the rice salad that's there too. You see, it's just these interesting kind of intersections of some Asian, maybe some Hispanic flavor, some just kind of coming together. It's quite interesting. But it sounds like, again, yeah, that was probably the more well received dishes that we enjoyed. So those are all the smalls, supposedly, like what you would have as, I imagine, as, are they supposed to be appetizers? I mean, they're just smaller dishes, but we'll move on to the mediums. So we got all of the mediums, and so the first of which is the mapo tofu stuffed cabbage, and that is it's tofu, shiitake mushroom. I'm just reading off here. Coconut rice, the chili paste, all wrapped in this like cabbage deal. So what are your thoughts on that dish? I'm trying to find something here. But yeah, go ahead. What do you guys think?
John, I think you were a bigger fan than me, so I'm gonna let you let you start.
It was fine. It wasn't bad. So I think again, like this menu looks so simple when you read off the ingredients. Like it's really hard to visualize what's going to come out. And I think part of the theming here too is in the name, right? Some of these foods look really jarring, and I think this was one of those. So it is mapo tofu stuffed in a cabbage, but when it showed up, it's drenched in this like black semi viscous sauce that's a bit on the sweet side. There's certainly mapo tofu in there, but it's just a very different preparation from what you're probably used to thinking of when you think of mapo tofu. I enjoyed this dish. It wasn't a huge favorite, but I definitely would not say it was a one that I disliked. It was just a very different take on mapo tofu, and I do remember seeing some Yelp reviews of people complaining about this dish, and I can totally see where they're coming from. In that you probably read this menu thinking it's mapo tofu and cabbage, and then you get this little pot that's drenched in this black saucy liquid in this cabbage that's impossible to cut, and then all the tofu will spill out as you cut it. But I think the flavors worked. Maybe it was a tad on the sweet side, but it was a fun interpretation for me.
Yeah, I'll just plus one most of those. I'll save
really?
myself some effort. But yeah,
was it difficult to cut? I don't know. Maybe I didn't.
I tried to portion it out for everybody. So I started my first cut, and I started my second cut, and then I gave up, and I gave this uncut mess to the rest of the table.
Just push it off to everyone. You work for it, It's like, okay.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Nice.
What do you think?
Yeah, I thought it was. I wasn't really sure what to expect. For some reason, again, my dumb brain is thinking, oh, that the whole thing, the outside, that's the tofu. Like, that's not. I'm not sure
sorry,
why.
what?
I'm not sure why. Okay, I
The
thought
giant cabbage-looking thing is
Right.
actually a really fancy tofu.
that's what
Is it cake?
is a cake.
Well, on the menu it does say vegan, so maybe that threw you off because
It
you're like, oh,
certainly
it's
did.
not all be tofu.
It certainly did. But no, I think you're right. It was a little bit on the sweet side, but overall was all the flavors were there. I mean, you know, I could get the tofu, the mushroom in there, and the cabbage. I didn't think it was maybe because most of it was gone, but I didn't think whatever was left that I cut through was difficult to get to. But yeah, that was enjoyable as well. But so the next one that came from that was the octopus burrata. And so that's so it starts off with this a squid ink fry bread. So that's just bread. Fry bread is actually I think it's a thing of the South. It's bread but fried. But it's dark because of the squid ink, and then on top of that you have this octopus cooked in an al pastor kind of marinade. So you have supposedly more of those citrusy, you know, kind of flavors in there, spices and whatnot. There's this other, what is it? Celery leaf, cherimoya. No, what is that? I can't even read.
Yeah, I think it was cherimoya. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. With a potato confit and a tomatillo, mostarda, a lot of which I don't quite understand, but, I think I know that I enjoyed it. The octopus was very flavorful, super nice to bite into, not overly chewy or nothing, but it was quite nice. What do you guys think about that?
I was a fan of this one. Although just to I feel like as you're reading it off, was it just to underscore maybe how weird some of these dishes were and how kind of innovative they were?
Yeah.
I think at one point we were talking at dinner, and I think it was you who said, Angelo, you're like, oh, that dish actually wasn't as crazy as the rest. But think about what you just read off. This was al pastor octopus, squid ink fry bread, tomatillo, mostarda, cherimoya. I don't know. I've never had a burrata dish with all these pieces together.
Yep.
But it came together. I don't know. You kind of assembled it all into one bite. It was really nice. I digged it.
Yeah, real good. John?
I think this was probably one of the prettiest dishes they had.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a lot of components, a lot of contrasting colors. It was delicious.
It's a very subtle dig to the lack of picture right now. It's this was the prettiest thing, and I can't see it.
Right.
All right.
Gorgeous.
Interestingly enough, I just started to kind of share some of the pictures, but I messed up, and that is literally the one that is not on there. Oh man, the dumb and hungry is strong with this one. So
it's just the dumb tonight.
Just dumb, very dumb. Always more dumb than hungry. That's usually what it is. But that was good too. If I can. I'll go back to it if I can. I'm going to add it, but anyway. But yeah, what came after that? Let's see. We have...
Next was the broccoli beef ravioli, which is a ravioli dish.
Ravioli.
Well,
yeah.
If you look at the picture, you'd be quite mistaken to think, or you could... if you don't see the ravioli, it'd be very understandable.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally.
So the broccoli, okay, this is a very rudimentary presentation of our meals, but this is the best I got. If you're asking, if you want my own pictures on there, but there you go.
What is this? What happened to you?
Production value. We've gone down in budget a little bit, so we need to
in a Word doc.
Budget.
That's what happens when you start paying people to be here.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm taking up the budget. If you want, I can do Pictionary with this. I can draw a little square and be like ravioli.
Yeah. Okay, so this is what we have. The dish
I love it when we use word processor to handle images. The perfect application.
It is actually, yeah. Ultimate
You should have
presentation.
printed a PDF while you're at it.
I could have. I'll save it as a PDF. Perfect.
Print it out and post it on your cubicle.
Yeah. So what do we have? We have short rib, dark soy, brown butter, broccolini, and Parmigiano Reggiano. So yeah, so it's ravioli, right? So the short rib is stuffed in the ravioli, and then kind of topped with all these other fixins on here. Can you guys remind me? This middle part. Is this the brown? I don't know what this is. This middle part here. This was the crunchy.
The middle
bits.
part was those were the fried onion bits or fried shallots. Sorry.
Yeah, I think there's a little crispy accents.
Right. Exactly.
But there was a pleasing number of those for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought overall the dish was great. I thought it was pretty rich, actually. A little strong on the dark soy because I guess a little more salty. But overall, I think it was quite good. But yeah, it was. I think after even like 2 or 3 pieces of the ravioli, I think like I'm done.
Yeah, that was my exact issue. Was like it was good, but I think for me I didn't even make the 2 or 3. I ate one and I was like, because probably at this point I was starting to feel I was like oh man, the waitress was right. Like we got a lot of food. Like
yeah,
like this is risky. So after eating one I was already like, all right, I need to be cautious here.
Yeah.
Right. You're like, there's one Angelo at the end of the table. He'll finish this.
Well, thankfully I did, but I mean, it was still, I mean, if I were eating that on my own, I feel like that, I think that's like it, right? That's the whole meal,
Yeah, that'd be a lot to just, if you go by yourself and you're chowing down, that's not the dish I'd go for.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It's very rich. It's had nice flavor. The raviolis themselves had nice flavor. I was expecting like 2 or 4 or 5 raviolis, standard serving size at Italian restaurants. There's probably like 12 in there.
Yeah.
And the raviolis themselves were nice. I think what was challenging for me was that dark soy brown butter sauce, because I think like others alluded to earlier, it was very salty and then there was some sweetness to it too. So it just made it hard to work through. And it's a bit tacky, so it's not like you can just scrape off the sauce. The sauce had clung on like tar to the dinosaur.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I mean, again, it was. I knew I enjoyed that. That was a good dish too. From there's one more medium, and that's the yellow curry bucatino, and apparently it was formerly a green curry, but now it is yellow. And let me bring that up for you in my very high quality presentation here. So, all right. We spared the listeners at home, so don't watch it. Just listen. Just try to keep up with the descriptions we have here. But the yellow curry bucatino, this is kind of maybe one of the few kind of types of dishes, maybe not exact dish, that carries over from Chef Diego's time with his pasta pop-up Estrano thing. So focus on a lot of pastas and things like that. So this is like an example of one of those. You have this noodle. I say noodle singular. Vaduvan.
That is an important point here.
That's one noodle.
One noodle.
It was one noodle. They did emphasize that. So, and they're right. So, with that, we have some interesting other pieces here. We have the sweet corn. We have this red walnut adjika, tomatillo zug, and palomitas. Which one? Yeah, where do we start? I don't know. I'm gonna let you guys.
We talked about it, but the one noodle. I mean, like, I've never had a noodle dish where like I eat it by cutting off pieces of the noodle. Like, that was new, but yeah. I mean, it totally, the yellow curry flavor was on point. I mean, it was totally yellow curry. The zug and the red ajika. I mean, they were kind of fun to mix in. Um, we struggled a little bit with the corn, but that was a little bit hard to share with everybody. But the rest was great.
What do you think of the reasoning is behind the addition of the corn, both the corn rib and the popcorn? I don't remember if they explained.
I don't remember if they explained, but just looking at your picture, it kind of reminds me of like, I don't know, a cyclops with an eyebrow. So maybe that's what they're doing. I mean, it's
It's just for the look. Yeah.
yeah. The menu was already pretty out there. So yeah,
Right.
I
It had to be jarring.
Okay. Yeah, I guess when you get it at the right angle, sure.
So yeah, Dan and I were in Italy not too long ago, and we did have our share of bucatini there. So bucatini is the pasta with the hole in the center, but it's a noodle.
Mm-hmm.
Did not have a single bucatini that was one long strand, but that was kind of fun about this dish. And obviously, it required them to take some time to plate that too, right? And just to get that shape just right. So I think it kind of does talk to this restaurant of like, there's a level of detail, there's a level of complexity to these dishes that, again, I just wasn't expecting to have at a barcade.
Yeah.
I'm gonna deviate from your format of talking about food and actually quickly pivot to a language lesson. So in the menu, this is called bucatino, and in Italian, for a masculine word, they typically end in an O. If you make that a plural, you would drop the O and put it as an I, or replace it with an I. So typically when you see bucatini, it's because there's multiple bucatinos. This menu actually gets it correct in stating that it is indeed a singular noodle.
Jeez.
Okay, so this is why I've never seen bucatino on a menu anywhere, because no one else is like, we'll just give you one.
The one noodle.
like have fun with that one. Like start slurping and don't stop. Just keep going the whole way.
This is a perfect laid-in trap noodle.
That must be. That was a very, I guess, in many ways, it's a thoughtful way of considering the menu, right? It's not just throwing that name in there. It's actually kind of staying true to what it is.
My job was to learn Italian for this trip, and this is the only time it has not paid off. So,
well, I appreciate
Italy
it
at all.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you, Duolingo. All right. So that wraps up all the mediums. Let's see. So lastly, we have the large, and we opted for one large dish. And that one was the Panang lamb neck. So I think we've seen kind of maybe the likes of lamb from restaurants like Bestia and Bavel, and which is where Chef Diego really kind of got his a lot of his training from. And so we see a menu item on that here, very highly and very high quality presentation. But we have the this kind of saffron bao, which here with the persimmon. I'm just reading this off. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Persimmon, amba, conserva raro, pomegranate molasses, and Brussels sprout. Right. So it's you have the Panang here, and this is also a pineapple. Was it like pineapple habanero deal sauce?
Yeah,
and then all the things I mentioned were on this second plate here, where you you kind of build a little bao for yourself. And you make a little bao taco, whatever you want to call it, folded bread thing. So
hot dog.
Yeah, hot dog. So that was the Panang lamb neck. So go ahead. I mean, I really enjoyed this one. I think the lamb was like super very flavorful, not gamey at all. Very easy to to take out the bone and all that, and then all the flavors just very fun. A lot of fruity, acidic, kind of flavors in there too. Overall, a great dish.
Yeah, I mean,
at this stage of the meal.
Sorry, Don, go for it.
Go ahead, Dan. I was just gonna say, at this stage of the meal, I had hit such a impenetrable wall that it made it very difficult
to appreciate this dish. But with
Yeah.
that said, I still thought it was very, very delicious. And you mentioned Bavel has something like this. You mentioned Bessie has something like this. Girl on the Go also has something like that. They do a lamb shank,
sure.
and it comes with like some breads on the side and some sauces and jam. So it very much is similar to those other places. But this is $29. This blew my mind. It's $29.
The price point is excellent.
Vertebrae. It was insanely tender.
Yeah, it totally
great
competes
flavor.
on quality. Like the quality, it's totally comparable, but way cheaper.
Way cheaper. Yeah, this is $60 dish at the other restaurants.
Easily.
But it was great. Lots of great balance from the little that I was able to taste. I appreciated it very much.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of like the serving size and comparable things, like it also reminds me, at Momofuku, right? Like they have the pork som, right? The braised pork shoulder. Obviously, that's a larger serving, a lot more going on, but same deal. All the little ingredients that you build your own, kind of little bao thing, and that dish is maybe like 3 or 4 times the cost of what this is, I think. But again, to the point that it's definitely more. That this is quite a good value. I mean, the flavors overall, I just put a little bit of everything in there, all those different pieces and those ingredients, and makes it very flavorful, like satisfying. And then, again, I know everyone was like very full at that point, and, I was, was the garbage disposal and everything at that point. But yeah, no, going through all the, the bones, you have all the nice, treasures and little bits in there, right? In the vertebrae and whatever. It's like, that's the gold stuff, right? Like that's real good.
You're the garbage disposal when you're the one actively eating the bones.
Well, again,
that bone was very well cleaned off by
it sure was, because there's a lot of treasures in those bones and you got to dig from. It's very satisfying, very rich and super flavorful. So really enjoyed that. That's an insult to garbage disposals everywhere, but yeah, no, that's fine.
You being compared to one is, yes.
That's right. I wanted to kind of go back. At least I think this was the one thing we didn't get to show. This was the octopus, right?
Octopus.
Yeah. Now I'm just curious, from the octopus, I don't know if we mentioned this. It does say in the menu that it's an octopus al pastor. So when you bit into it, did you kind of get those flavors? Some some remote flavor of al pastor, or
I'll
were you
admit
not?
That was the al pastor was definitely not like, I got it a little bit, but that wasn't what came through strongly.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there was al pastor, I don't doubt that there was al pastor, but because of all the other components in that dish, I did not notice it.
Yeah, there definitely was like a lot going on there, but I think the octopus itself was, well cooked. It was just nice to.
Oh, super! Yeah, not rubbery, not dried out. Like, great octopus.
Yeah. So that kind of rounds out, all the kind of the dishes. Let's touch, before we go into the dessert part of it, let's kind of go through the dishes we've had. And I know we've already kind of alluded to like what we really liked here, so I don't think that's going to be much of a question. But from all the smalls, again, I think we answered this already. It seems like the honey walnut prawns like really stood out.
Yep.
I don't know if we all agree on that.
Yep, agreed.
If I chose a salad, you'd never have me back here. So yes, the prawns.
I would. Okay, this is going to be sacrilegious. The prawns are my favorite. Let's get that out of the way before I get shot. But I would say, as a whole, I think I did like the smalls average rating for me was probably like the highest of the sections. Like as a whole, I really enjoyed pretty much every small.
Yeah. So if you could just kind of have that category of food, you would go towards that. And I'm sure the prawns really carry a lot of it.
Yeah,
certainly.
Yeah.
And then from the mediums, we tried all of those. So which one of those would you say kind of stood out for you?
For me, I'd say the octopus would be number one of those four.
Okay.
Yeah, I would probably agree on the octopus. I did enjoy the bucatino. Um, as we talked about the mapo tofu and the raviolis, I liked both, but they were just both a lot. So like,
Yeah.
like I felt happy with the 1 or 2 bites I had of each. I didn't feel a strong need where I'm like, damn, I wish there was more. I was like, that was good, but I'm done.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Surprisingly, I might side with the mapo tofu on this one. This one is quite good, even though it is contains no meat. So that was there must be something good in there.
I guess there's something to be said about not having to cut your own mapo tofu.
That's right. So okay, and then lastly, obviously with the large, we only had the Panang, but I think that was, it's kind of a thumbs up overall. Like it was good.
Yeah, of all the largest, I think that was my favorite one.
Yeah,
definitely number one. No, definitely if you put it amongst like all the dishes we had in the meal, it would be in the top like couple for me for sure.
Yeah. Well, then let's narrow it down
S
further.
tier?
I know this is hard because we have the prawns, right? And let's say the octopus and then the lamb. Like from those three.
Oh, that's not hard. It's the prawns.
Okay.
It's the prawns. It's my worth it winner.
Okay, perfect.
They were very delicious. They were sizable. It helps at that point in the meal. I was like, we were just coming off 2 salads. I was still pretty hungry. Like the timing was excellent for like, let's knock it back.
Yeah.
With palate cleanser. Yeah.
Excellent.
It just checked all the boxes.
Yeah.
Great flavor, very surprising, fun combination, very creative, very inventive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's great.
So now we kind of got that out of the way. Now we move on to kind of our the dessert portion. So the dessert at this time, like they served like 3 items, and I forgot how it was phrased, but basically, John, we somehow just convinced ourselves. Went with what John said, like we just get like the 2. There's like 2 of the 3 or whatever that from there. So that's what we got. So one of which is the squash blossom olive oil cake. So this is with cardamom, ricotta, balsamic, and a creamsicle sorbet. So, and then I'll go into the other one. We also had a banana split. Let me find that. But yeah, that has the unique flavors with a little bit of banana chips on there. So go ahead and why don't we talk about that the olive oil cake. What do you guys think of that?
Well, let's go back really quickly to the comment on decision making, because I think the conversation we were having was, hey, we can't really decide, and I said I'm good doing the olive oil cake or the banana split, and then through the classic game of telephone, or became and, so we ended up with 2 desserts, which in hindsight was a blessing. Yes, let's talk about the olive oil cake.
Sure, go ahead. Talk about it.
It was nice. It was good.
So yeah, this is to allude. This is not the part that I think John's alluding to as much, but yeah, this one was good. Olive oil cake is. I'm trying to think. I think the first olive oil cake I had was a few years ago, and I remember at the time I was like, that's kind of weird. But I've enjoyed pretty much every olive oil cake I've had, and turns out balsamic is a great ingredient for dessert. Like you can't go wrong with it. Sorbet was nice. It just all worked. It wasn't super. It's funny compared to everything else we ate for dinner. That was probably much more mild than a bunch of the other dishes, but it was nice.
Okay, good.
Yeah, olive oil cake, ricotta, balsamic, like those all feel like they go together. Mm-hmm. The squash blossom was fried. That was nice and sweet. Maybe the red herring in this one was the creamsicle sorbet. I've never had creamsicle featured on anything other than by itself. It's usually a star on its own. But to have it on this plate, it was different. But I think it worked very well. Just added more profile, more dimension to each bite.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Probably say a lot of the same. It was a good one. Now that we'll take a different take now here with our other dessert, the banana split. So that includes, like I said, It's interesting that I'm looking at the menu now. So they start off with unique seasonal flavors, right? Each
Yeah, they
word,
didn't specify.
Yeah.
okay, but each
Right.
word is in quotation marks. Unique seasonal flavors.
And flavor. Yes.
Flavors is in
You know, the
quotation
important, yeah,
marks?
flavors being in quotes is really important because like that's quite a
It's
quite
quite a
debate to be
statement.
had.
So let's talk about this.
I
So
want to
we
say,
Mhm.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I mean they give us 3 different flavors of ice cream here. Are these ice creams? I don't even know. Are these ice creams or sorbets?
Well,
Okay.
it's vegan. That's so.
Oh
Oh,
god.
so no.
Okay.
No.
That
They
explains a
were more
lot.
like iced teas, like they were very
Yeah.
ice.
Yeah.
So the one that
Not
I see here in
creamy.
the forefront is, what was that? That was like a saffron deal.
It was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Saffron and what? There was something
What was
else
it,
in there.
saffron and what? Yeah.
We forgot
Well,
already.
I think the other thing was flavor in quotes. So
Yes.
saffron and
Well, I
flavor.
think flavors. I think flavors and quote is the green one.
Okay.
Or maybe flavor. Maybe the green one's unique. I don't know. One of those two words. It certainly isn't seasonal. I hope it's not seasonal.
Well, you would
Actually,
hope
no, I hope
you would
it's
hope it
seasonal.
is, so
I
that can
hope it's
change.
seasonal.
Yeah, it'll change with the season. The flavor to the left, what was it? It was coffee,
Date and coffee.
dates and
And
coffee,
black pepper, I think.
and some pepper.
And
Yeah,
black pepper, yeah.
hmm
Yeah.
And then the green one is what?
Straight chloroform.
I mean, I think even when we asked about this one, right? Like the waitress
Yeah,
was
she
like,
really struggled.
yeah, she's like,
Yeah.
I don't know where they get this.
Oh my
Yeah, I
gosh.
don't know where Chef sources this from. I've asked him several times, and it's so hard to remember.
Yeah,
To us, I think it reminded us of star anise, which is like a
Yeah.
right. Well, that's the
Uh,
flavor that
very
you brought up,
flavoring.
right? Yeah, very fragrant.
Right.
Uh-huh.
yeah. It's like sage, right? Sage, you only use a little leaf to
Yeah.
flavor a whole pot.
Mm-hmm.
Same with star anise, you should only use one pod to flavor a whole pot.
Yeah.
This felt like they took the sack of star anise and just shoved it into this little scoop.
Okay, so we have those 3, and then kind of lining it there in the bottom, we have the the banana chips, but then also kind of these other little, I don't know, additions here, including like what are basically pop rocks. Right when you bite into it, they pop. Right there.
Yeah,
So
it was a mix of things. There were like sprinkles, hot rocks.
mhm.
There was like sesame seeds in there.
Yeah.
That sounds really gross.
No, it was.
Yeah, I
I
don't
think the
want to.
sensation was quite nice.
Yeah, I don't want to I never want to be the coming out and bagging on a dish because I mean this is clearly nothing I could ever like accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll say I feel like I have multiple emotions like during this dish. It's like we ordered and it's like, oh, this is unique seasonal flavor. Like maybe this is some magical thing. And then it comes out and you're kind of like, oh, this looks a little bit weird. But you're like, maybe this is some really cool deconstructed banana split because everything else we've been eating was like so inventive, so kind of fun. And you're like, all right, maybe I'm just missing it, and I just got to try it.
Yeah.
And then you pile it onto a bite and you try, and you're like, nope, yeah, no, I don't get it. Like, I'm missing it.
Yeah, it was definitely it was unique for sure. It was, unique.
Yeah.
But, again, I think it accomplishes what it's trying to be, as far as being kind of out there, some creative take on something. I don't know. It, everything may not necessarily be like a hit, but definitely gets the job of like kind of showing, some degree of creativity, I think.
For sure.
Yeah,
For sure.
those were the desserts that we got to enjoy. But that was kind of the overall meal. Just curious, I forgot, did you guys have something to drink, along with the meal?
Yes.
What was that?
What did we have? We had a sour that I took a photo of so I can remind myself what it was called. It was called Thai Delight Treat.
That was like a mango
it
sticky
was-
rice sour or something.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's a sour ale with mango, let's just say, flavored rice and coconut cream. And even when you poured it out, there was a thick foam that never subsided.
That's cool.
There was like a creaminess to it. And yeah, it tasted like a mango sticky rice on the sour side, but it had really good flavor. I've actually been trying to see if I can find where to buy this stuff. I mean, Carmen saw it at Total Wines, but
Prairie Artisan Ales.
Their drink list was pretty, but yeah, their
Well,
drink
the
list was
brewery's
pretty dope.
brewery.
Nice. Do you think it went well with the meal overall?
I don't know. I mean, everything had so much. It definitely was on theme with everything else we had
Okay.
in terms of like a Southeast Asian flavor with a lot of Southeast Asian other flavors.
Okay.
It's not like it was meant to be paired with all those things because everything was so unique and different. But I enjoyed it. We definitely were still talking about it when we had left the restaurant. So
okay.
it left an impression.
They
Good.
should have it at the Glendale Bevmo.
Glendale Bevmo. That's my weekend plan.
Are they still open at 10:05? Okay. So from
On the weekend?
well, no, I mean right now. From the menu that we have here, so it seems like for the large dishes, there are just only like, the 3 other dishes we didn't get to try, which I'm sure would be sizable on their own. But I guess my question with that is, would you go back? Would you try it again?
Yes.
I'm actually gonna say probably not anytime soon, but not due to anything. I'm like, oh, I didn't like it. Like, I thought it was great. I think my biggest reason is like so much of the fun was the inventiveness of the dishes. And so, and fortunately we went with like a big enough group where we really got to get like so many of them that I don't feel a burning need to go back when there's like so many. There's so many other restaurants in LA that I want to try. But yeah, I'll say if there was someone else who was in town and like, I kind of showed it to them and they were interested, like I'd happily go back to show somebody else.
Okay.
But just for me on a weekend, it's, like I thought it was great, but it's probably not going to be on like it's a Saturday, I need a place to eat, like I'm going to Poltergeist. Like, it's just,
I don't think it's quite the super casual spot, right? That you just want to drop in and just have a casual meal or anything. I think it still is, even though it's taken away necessarily like of the pretension of fine dining or anything. I think because maybe of the presentation, the inventiveness, I think it's still kind of a special occasion, inventive kind of, kind of destination type of place that you want to go only maybe every so often. I don't know.
Exactly.
But definitely not stopping anyone from going at all. Should definitely check it out.
Yeah, I'd highly recommend it out to people who, are maybe looking for something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Or people who, they kind of, to your point, they like kind of fine dining, but don't want something like super pretentious or expensive or like I think it should definitely be on, whatever hot new restaurants in LA. Like it should definitely be on that list somewhere.
And I'm sure they are. I mean, they've definitely blown up, since they've opened and, even before, a lot of word of mouth going through, and it's definitely a unique spot. I think a special place, in LA for people to try. And I'm glad we got to try it. I'm glad you guys were able to come out. I hope Mychow, I don't know, maybe find time to, take a visit. Maybe we can try it out, or I don't know, if you ever get around to it, that'd be good too. But it's definitely worth definitely worth a visit.
Sounds like it.
I am excited to go back and try. Well, no, I am excited to get another hit of prawns. I definitely need another round.
Those prawns, yeah.
But I mean, we did try a lot of things, so really there aren't too many new things to discover, and that's probably the only thing that would be holding me back from going, because there's only 3 other big dishes. Right. How much of that could I possibly eat? But I agree. It is not a quick, casual romp. Like, you really have to plan it out, get a reservation, all that jazz. But I would happily go back at some point. Maybe not this weekend, but at some point.
Yeah.
In the near future, get back there. If Mychow, if you're interested, let's do it.
Yeah, maybe this weekend. I don't know. Or if not,
okay,
next
this weekend. Let's do it. I'll just get a prawn dish for myself, and then we'll share everything else.
Right.
If not this weekend, next weekend should be possible.
Right in between Barbenheimer.
Perfect.
Hey,
Oh, between the intermission of Barbenheimer, they're saying like between
Yeah.
one movie and another. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a good idea. Okay,
It's part of the upper.
yeah,
Oh, sure.
yeah, that's nice.
Oh, also, quick fact check. They do not have it at the Glendale Bevmo.
Oh,
No.
But closer to you, actually, in Burbank, there's a place called Fancy Free Liquor, and they should have the Tide Delight there.
Sorry, fancy free liquor.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
The best store.
I like
Just
the
give out
sound.
free
of this
That does sound
facility.
fancy. Very nice. Before we kind of wrap it up, I mean that I do want to mention one more thing because I had already planned this on my own, but I had convinced John to come along. We had more dessert after because it's just appropriate. So we not too
Well,
far
after that banana split, it might have been.
It was a palate cleanser, is what it was.
Yeah, for me it was just an addition. So just a few.
Gelato Pazzo,
Yeah, absolutely. You got it.
of course.
Yeah. So just a few
It's in the
miles.
area.
First
that
time,
makes
it was
sense.
great.
I think there's picture proof that it's not. It wasn't.
I think that was generative AI deepfake technology at work.
This is why we're striking.
Yeah. Because they're taking all the jobs. They're gonna give it all to robots. Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, apparently John claims he's never been, so I thought we'd take him and have him try once and for all. So Pasta Gelato is actually, we've mentioned it a few times on this pod, and it is a well-known spot in the Silver Lake neighborhood. It's been around for quite a while, I think since 2006, and they just make some small batch gelato. And the reason, I think one of the reasons why they've kind of come to attention, especially lately, we've kind of brought up a story that they recently got some new neighbors right next door by the name of Salt and Straw. Maybe you heard of them. And there was this kind of controversy of the placement of this. It's just right, literally one building over. It's managed by the same landlord and everything. And to have kind of this big name ice cream shop next to this mom and pop type shop is kind of concerning, right? Because it seems that the trend that in time maybe that one will take over the other and so on and so forth, and it just may not do well for the smaller guy.
Wait, so are we saying the average consumer does not get 2 ice creams? Because I feel like amongst this friend group, like the natural response would be like, "Oh, there's 2. Like, I'll just get 1 and 1."
Why decide?
That's right. Why not both? Probably
If
for
only more people were like that.
That's right. I think so.
Wouldn't be a problem.
No, it probably wouldn't be a problem. But
Well, Dan's
so-
arteries aren't full yet, so he can handle it. But
that's right. He's got plenty of space. So, okay. But, well, John, since it was apparently your first time there, what were your thoughts?
growing up, our middle school and our high school was along Sunset Boulevard. You had to pass this place on Sunset Boulevard, and I remember seeing it growing up my entire time, but never having tried it. Supposedly, it was nice. It was really nice gelato flavor. It's I got used to Italy where you kind of just have to have faith that hazelnut is hazelnut and Nutella is Nutella and chocolate is chocolate, pistachio is pistachio. It was nice being able to try flavors. They had some of the classics. They had some fun ones, like they had a coffee and cookies flavor. And I also had forgotten that American serving sizes are different from Italian serving sizes, because this was like maybe a small this was like a softball's worth of gelato.
Yeah.
It was a lot of gelato, very rich. But it was really nice. It was really good. And, the one thing I couldn't help but noticing was that, Salt and Straw was set up right next door, but there was just a constant line of people going in and out of pots of gelato. And I didn't see as many people coming in and out of the Salt and Straw. So it is kind of sad to know that this place isn't, or at least they're not planning to stick around, because I think they do have
a strong foothold in the community, and there are a lot of people who do enjoy their ice cream or their gelato. It was really popular. We couldn't even get chairs at one point. Had to wait for a couple parties to start, and they have ample seating in front of their place. But overall, I thought it was great. Really nice gelato. Worth checking out before they go.
Yeah, I I think typically I'm under the mindset that there's space for everyone. But I think in this case, I feel like just the timing and is, I don't know. It just doesn't seem in good taste, I feel, in this case. I mean, I love Salt and Straw. We have our share of Salt and Straw still. Yeah, so I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this particular placement of next to this kind of long-standing spot. But I guess only time will tell. Like again, I think if my facts are right, maybe we'll have to fact check. I think the owner, again, he may not intend to renew the lease of the place, whether that was his original intention or because of this whole thing. Maybe now that's kind of the direction. But either way, with the time that they're still around, please definitely check them out. And whether or not you get Salt and Straw as well, I guess that's up to you, but you should definitely try out Fatso while you're out there. So that was good. That was definitely a good move. And now John has been, and now he can't say otherwise. So because he literally has never been at any other time of his life. There is no proof, apparently.
Never been.
No. Yeah.
First time visit. I should have gotten a button. First visit.
Oh man. So anyway, that kind of rounded off our evening. So Poltergeist and some Patso to finish it off, and so that was overall a very good day. So hopefully we have more days like that. But I don't know if you guys have any other thoughts or any other things you want to share. He's like, get me out of here.
And Poltergeist about this podcast.
That's right. But that's
because this goddamn production value has dropped too much. I just gotta throw it out there again. Taking a stand.
Okay.
We just did half an Oppenheimer for one restaurant.
Oppenheimer had a little bigger budget.
Oh, they sure did. We don't quite have the same, but with that said, we'll just wrap it up here, come to the end of another episode. So thank you for joining us. We're excited to bring you more of our adventures with good food and good people. Reach out to us. I'm at Dumb and Hungry. He's at my_Chow. You can email us at hi@dumbandhungry.com for your feedback and love letters. You can find us on YouTube, where you can like, subscribe, and smash. And you can also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and wherever fine podcasts are served. But until next time, I'm Angelo.
I'm Mychow.
I'm Daniel.
Okay. And until next time, remember to try one of each. Right.
Is this Google Doc Garbo, dude? What happened?
I had to think like on the fly here. I didn't have many options.
You took photos. You took so many photos.
I did.
They're probably good photos.
And
I started with Yelp pictures.
Well, because I didn't have much to work with. I mean, like that's the easiest to access, right? And then I thought, okay, I'll just add these pictures to my Google Doc, and
not like Google Slides, like Docs.
Well, because with slides you have to make slides for each for each picture.
But you just paste one picture per slide, and you can just.
I had to do that in real time, right? If I prepare,
you need control new paste.
It don't work like that. Not like now. It don't work like that right now. I could do that if I thought about that before.
You could just download to your desktop and then like open it up in like Photos
Windows,
app and just like.
Well, I think that was part of the problem. The transferring of the photos from the iPhone to the PC is typically a challenge. If I had my notebook with me, actually it's upstairs. That would have been a lot easier. It would have airdropped to that notebook and probably done that. But I didn't have that on hand. So I'm trying to think on the fly. Look, I'm trying to be creative here, okay? I'm trying to...
Sounds like a first world problem and excuse to me. Oh, I didn't have the right computer, so I had to use a different computer.
And you had the time to make an outline over the however long, but you didn't think about the picture part? Of all things? You didn't think about the picture part?
Right.
What's the ratio of the listeners? Are we talking mostly YouTube
0.
or mostly podcasts?
0 to 0.
Right. We're all screaming into an empty void at the moment.
You're all part of the count, the viewer count here. Okay, that's a ghost
the total viewer count.
That's a ghost yeah.
That's true, actually. Yeah, Carmen and I.
Well, subtract 1 for me. Look, I'm in this. Why do I need to
watch? Yeah, so it's not wrong. So, but yeah, that would have been a better way to handle that. But that's what I don't know. Got to deal with it now. I guess what I could have done as well, like in post, I could have overlaid the pictures, as we're talking, but then you don't have the chance you don't have the opportunity to see them. Yeah. But it could have been done too, but I'm too lazy for that. I have to actually, I really try.
I thought this was fun. I thought that was fun.
I thought it was great. I mean, you think of the corporate life. I mean, people probably done worse. Okay.
What are you talking about? The corporate life.
I think he's talking about the fact, John, that your PTO is stored in an Excel spreadsheet.
An unprotected Excel spreadsheet.
You're trying to one-up my PTO tracker? Is that what's happening here? I'll show you one PowerPoint slide.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe if there's ever a next time. Yeah, it just didn't come up. It ain't.
This is a podcast, after all. How much posts do you do?
I really tried to do none. Honestly, I tried to do this in one take. So I think it's only lately that I've just done some very basic cuts and minor things. So there's like a few things like I would, just cut off or whatever. But most of the time, keep everything intact as is. Namely because I'm lazy, So
I mean, it's a lot of work. Yeah.
It is a lot of work.
And it sucks.
Yeah. So if you do it, so that the way, that's why we use OBS to put in all our elements in there already, all the transitions, the intro and stuff. Like just do it in one take, and then I just chop off what I don't need, and then that's it. Just export, and then I'm done. Because even the quality of the audio, it's kind of already more or less what I want it to be. I don't have to go into it too much, and then that's it. Probably the longest thing that takes is the upload to YouTube. Thankfully, the internet held up okay. I don't know what happened. Like I said, yeah, I think it held up okay.
There were a couple times where you froze on us.
Did it? Oh, I had no idea. Obviously, I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
You'll see it.
Oh, I wasn't sure.
Actually, will you see it?
Yeah. I will.
But will you see it, actually?
No, I won't, because I'm using a different source for my camera.
Because you're recording it. Yeah.
Well, my camera is I'm using my actual camera as opposed to using the camera that I see on Discord. So
got it.
So that's fine. But Daniel did drop off for a little bit. That was probably the only thing. But I think
Mychow dropped off, but he was.
Well, he literally just walked away.
Yeah, he was like, I'm free. I thought you were gonna be gone for the rest of that segment, honestly.
And then he just casually walks back at the end. It's like, yeah.
Hey man, I gave notification.
Yeah.
I was waiting. I read that and I was like, you're just like, oh, I need to do this. I wouldn't have been surprised. It's like, I need to go and I'm not coming back. Bye.
I thought you would have just grabbed Oli's giant ass Pikachu, put it in the chair, and just walked off.
Hey, very well could.
I should have. All right, next time.